Okay, welcome everybody to the first Relay Astronomy Club imaging meeting tonight on January 15th, 2026. And tonight's topic, it'll be about what we do every 3 months where we go out and challenge ourselves to take an image of an object in the night sky. And so we put out a poll back in, I think it was September or no, October. Yeah, back in October, and the Heart and Soul Nebulae won out. So that's what we're going to take a look at tonight and see what members came up with. And yeah, so who would like to go first? Anyone? Okay, well, I guess I'll go first. It's right. Okay, so yeah, bear with me. Let's see. Let me just do my desktop, I guess. No, actually, let me do this first. Let me do this full screen right here. Okay, so I just tossed this really quick in Photoshop. Yeah, I always see the star field mirroring. Like, what the hell am I looking at, Chris? But anyway, let me just do one quick trick. I'm really fast at Photoshop, faster than I am with what is it? Picked Insight. So let me do something right quick here. Select color range. We'll do these. Hopefully they all work. Okay. Yeah, back in the day when we all used Photoshop, I still do to a small measure. Do that. Do that. Okay, and then finally, basically what I'm doing is just a crude star shrink thing. See, where am I? Yeah, here we go. So minimum. See, that's good enough. Okay, so what was the whole point of this? All right, so let me do this, get on screen. So I went out and was going to do the Heart and Soul Nebula with get both of them in the same frame. What was it with hydrogen alpha? Starting out with hydrogen alpha because I wasn't sure how it was going to look exactly, and so did one night of hydrogen alpha, and this is pretty much the result I got. And I was like, oh, yeah, sure, okay. But then I was thinking, you know what? Let me go and do the Heart Nebula by itself. So that's what I went and did instead. But this was with an 85 millimeter camera lens, and all the exposures. There were 25 exposures in all. Every one of them was 10 minutes, so just a little bit over 4 hours is what I put into this. So, but I was just like, I want the nebula to really fill the frame here, and this one that kind of did it. I was a little off-centered a little bit, but maybe I'll go back to it and just like do a really, really long exposure because there's a lot of faint nebulosity trying to show up here, and like maybe a 15-minute or maybe even a 20-minute exposure. I've done those before. It hasn't been a while, but Chris has done those before. So, but here, let me go ahead and stop sharing this one. No.
What's the focal length on that one?
What? Do what? Say that again.
What lens was that you shot that with?
That was an 85 millimeter Canon EF lens. It could be stop down or not stop down. It could be wide open. It would be f1.8. But due to just optics and light behaving the way it is, I had to stop it down to f2.8. I probably should have just gone ahead and go all the way down to f3.2 because I don't have fast, return fast filters, which would actually keep keep the photons from drifting to another part of the spectrum. And if they do that, well, the filter is useless because they're a different wavelength. Hey, it's not going to filter at hydrogen alpha then. So so I should have probably gone in retrospect. Probably should have gone at 3.2. I mean, that's what I did with the Heart Nebula. Let me clear that one right quick. I mostly finished product. This guy right here, and it turned out okay. Yeah, I need to go back and play with the color a little more. But yeah, it's pretty. Got everything I wanted about it. You can see nebulosity all throughout the picture, even faint stuff. And I got, was it Merlot 14, I think, or 13 is what it's called. That's right, like right in the middle of it, right there. I mean, I zoomed in, I took a look at it, like, yeah, that's not too bad. This whole image could probably use a little bit of sharpening right here. Last time I actually went and took an image of this area was this guy right here. I think it's called NGC 869. The reason why I say I think, because Johnny Horn, who couldn't be with us tonight, he went ahead and gave me his heart nebula. I mentioned that before we started the meeting, and he just took an image of this section right here, and NGC 869, which is what it's labeled. It's also known as the fish head nebula, and I guess you can kind of see that. I mean, if you know the anatomy of a fish, you can say that. I don't know if my mouse pointer is showing up here, but to the right of that little curved dark nebula lane going through it, that would be the head, and then the actual lane part, that would be sort of like the gill slit, if you want to call it that. So the reason why I bring that part up is that I took an image of this area. This is the first, one of the first narrowband images I took a long time ago. I don't have it here. Maybe I'll dig it up as we're all talking about our images. But that was back when I just got into using standalone camera sensor cameras, if you will. Because before that, all I had been using were DSLR cameras. And the one I had, I wanted to start out cheap because I wasn't sure if I was going to like this or not. So the camera I got was a CCD. Back then, CCDs were the tapped me out. The backlit CMOS technology hadn't really taken off at all yet, and but of course it did 2 years later, and they were a tad cheaper than the CCD camera that I bought. And well, this CCD camera that I bought was only 3 megapixels, so, so it was a very narrow field of view, and it's pretty much scaled the way I had it here. It was with a 200 millimeter lens, and I was only able to fit just that much onto the sensor. So it was, yeah. But I like the results, so it's like, okay, well, this is worth exploring more. And a few years later, I went out and bought some the ZWO cameras that we all know and love. But anyway, so those are my products right there. And this one, let's see, I believe I did, I don't have them right here in front of me. I know they're somewhere between 20 to 30 exposures of each channel of hydrogen alpha, O3, and sulfur 2 to do this. And it was with the same camera that you saw before with the wide field view of both nebulae. What was it? It was with a 200 millimeter lens instead, and 200 millimeter EF lens. That's the main reason why I didn't go to the popular Rokadon 135s that are like everywhere these days, just because I just had experience with this. And two, I thought a good, we already had a DSLR that would, what do you call it, that was compatible with those lenses. So that's why I went with the EF lenses. And, this one's 200 millimeters. The last one was 85 millimeters. The other thing too, I need to research this on the web, is that if I want to like stop it down from being wide open all the way to, I don't know, F10, for whatever reason I would ever want to do that. But the only way I can, capability of how I can do that right now is with the actual DSLR body. I have to set it on there, then remove the lens, mid exposure, and then that'll be what I would use for tonight. So anyway, so yeah, that's what I have. I'm going to stop share. Who'd like to go next?
Well, now I'm afraid to after seeing that. Because that was amazing.
Oh, well, thank you. Yeah, that's probably one of the first narrowband images I've taken in a while because I've had computing problems, been plagued by computing problems for over a year. But anyway, thanks.
But I'll go ahead and go next for.
Hey,
So
are you able to share actually? Let me make sure about this.
yes.
Okay, good.
And I'm gonna Oh, I have to send request to turn on.
Oh, okay. Let's see this.
Do I have to do it again? Because now it says,
Uh,
oh, it says it's not turned on.
it's not turned on. Okay. Event sharing options. How many people can share at the same time? One participant share at the same time. Who can share? All participants. Okay, try it now.
Okay.
Okay, it's coming in.
Okay. Uh, so one
Sharing.
thing I know for this is Heart and the Soul Nebula. I took these in August. I think I might have been not inside the time frame for this, or
I'll let it slide. It's okay.
yeah. But um, this is so the Heart Nebula. These two are actually from my backyard. I took these back in August. This is on August 3rd. It was I'm using a Celestron Edge 11, and I have an ASI 2600 that I use for so I'm doing single shot color camera on it, not and then this is with the Hyperstar adapter, so this is at f1.9 in order to get this field of view. So then this is the full field of view, like that's as big as I can get with it.
So how often
So
have you been using the Hyperstar?
I use it. I've been using it a lot, and I've been doing a bunch of nebula shots, and I really like it. It's it's easier. Like all of the frames are good. It locks in very well for guiding because it's actually the 2600 Duo, so it's using the mini sensor off to the side, and it works very effectively for tracking in this lineup doing this. So yeah, so this is about 2 hours of exposure I did on this one,
That's
and
nice.
then
What kind of mount is this on?
it's on the CGX, the Celestron mount that it came I bought
Okay.
as a package. Yeah.
I thought I saw that one. You brought it to the Willard one time, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I think I know
So
what you're talking
I've
about.
had I've had this 3 years now. This I just got it about 3 years ago. So I'm doing this.
That's
So
cool.
so making progress here. The processing, I'm still I haven't spent a lot of time like learning and developing. So this processing is very rudimentary. I'm just using the ASI Studio and just doing like quick stack of it. And then I think I think I've discussed it before on here, and I haven't really worked on fixing this. Is my flats are not very good, which is why it tends to get bright off to the upper left here. Because I don't think the flats that I took are good enough to try and even it out. So I'm kind of getting that effect on it.
You bring up flat. Something I've always wondered is you have the Hyperstar. You probably know where I'm going with this out in front of the optic, and so it's like, well, how do you take a flat with because like most people, well, at least I do, we use like a light panel of some sort.
Yeah.
We set it on the
Yes.
front of the scope. So I'm like, well, how do you do it with a Hyperstar? How do you do
So
that?
so I I had it set up in the daytime, and I put a t-shirt over it, and then tried to like point it up toward like a bright area of the sky. But I think that's the issue, is trying to set up like that is I'm getting an uneven distribution of light across the field of view when I do that. And I think that's what's happening. But if I don't use flats, then I get this kind of vignette type where it's brighter in the center and dark at the edges. That's kind of the natural effect I get if I'm not doing flats. So maybe there's something I can do in processing with that too. That's the part, is I really need to spend more time working on developing the other methods of processing, like uh, Cyril, I think is the one want to work on, in order to do that. But these ones now have been like, this is a really quick to like stack it and get a look at it. I just haven't gone back and done any more effort on this one. But and then this is about 2 hours where I'm doing 2-minute exposures and then stacking it together.
Well,
And
I mean,
then
it's a really good take on it. Yeah, I can understand how you're frustrated with the uneven field illumination there. I mean, there's
yeah,
some tricks around that. I don't know how to do it with VWO's software. I know how to do it in Photoshop and Fix
yeah,
Insight, where you just set up a fake flat. I've also know that you can kind of do it with AVE to a small extent. It's not really that great, but it'll even out the field a little bit. But problem with that is that it works really well with like galaxies and star clusters. But if you have a nebula in the image, well, a nebula itself is going to have gradients, you know. So
yeah.
the whole, methodology of creating a flat for a nebula, a fake flat, if you will, with a nebula image, it's not going to be the best in the world. I mean,
I and I have tried that in Photoshop with one of my images. I was trying to do that, and it's exactly that. It's a nebula, so it's very difficult because like the procedure is like you kind of draw an outline around the object in order to try and create that artificial flat. And the problem with a nebula is it's difficult to determine exactly how to do that. And then the other part is finding like a good spot to set as the darkest spot in the picture or something like that. So yeah, I've done a little bit of that too, and it's very challenging. But
yeah.
so that was this one, and then the Soul Nebula. So this one is not so the secret on this one. This one was on August 17th, so it was like about 2 weeks later. Um, The reason it's not as nicely centered as the other one is because the this run was at about 3 o'clock in the morning, and I wasn't going to get up and rotate the frame because I was doing some other object and I had a plan set up, and I'm like, no, I'm sleeping through the night on this one. So I just had it go to the center of it, and it wasn't going to be, if ideally I would have turned it so that it was lined up with it to have it better centered in the frame, but similar. This one's a little bit longer. I think it was 80 frames, so it's almost 3 hours, I think, of exposure time for that one. And that's the same thing with Hyperstar. So
I guess another thing I could see, it looks like both your images have the same gradient in it.
yeah, that's what I'm getting at is that I'm using like I'm just like I don't have a lot of time to go out and do the whole t-shirt thing to do that. So I did it once, generated a set of flats, and that's what I've been using every time I want to process it. So the
Yeah.
other thing is I'm not doing it, at the same time that I'm doing any other images or stuff like that, because I really don't know, a method of doing even without the hyperstar. If I'm just doing like a regular one or with the reducer, I don't have like one of those LED panels to try and set it up to do flats in that way either. So
Yeah.
so that's something I got to think on or work on, see if there's a better way to do that, or if I can work on the processing. And I know I'm going to show this really quick, but I know like these were the two shots, but like this is an example that I took at Staunton in October. This is like one of the best ones that I've done that I was really happy with. And that one worked out a lot better. And I'm wondering if maybe it's because it's not as dependent on that sky glow because of less light pollution up there. So
Yeah, I think you're right on the right track there. Yeah, that's probably the way I would say it too. I mean, you point straight up at the night sky. I mean, anywhere you go with the image, it's the point that's like straight above you. That's going to be the least polluted.
yeah,
So, but yeah, yeah, no, yeah, this one's. I'm sorry, Lane. This is like this image is superior compared to those other
yeah.
two. Yeah,
Oh no, this was a later one, like done in October. I did do I was just realizing as I went through here, I did do the Soul Nebula again in November, but I'm looking through here and realize I hadn't stacked it yet, so I'm not even sure how that came out. So it would be interesting to try and take a look at that again and see if it came out better. Because I think when I did that one, I lined it up right. But anyway, I'll move on. I'll let you guys take whoever's next go. But thanks.
Yeah, no problem. Thanks. Okay, who's next? Ben Stein, anyone? Anyone?
I've got some older ones to show, but I don't have any from the time frame.
I tell you what, go ahead and show us those because I need to bring up Donnie's and Naveen's here.
Okay. Let's see. So this is one that I did when this is my second narrowband image that I ever did. So this is the heart, and this is back in 2022. It's with a Meade 70 millimeter refractor and a ZWO 2600, an SHO, and it's just getting started. I didn't really know how to bring out the colors in this one, so I really kind of come to do like a bicolor brown and blue version. But the details came out good, and it's a fun one to look at all the lacy stuff, all the lacy dark nebulas occurring around the middle nebula there in the middle cluster.
Yep, nicely resolved there.
Yeah, we got pretty good results from that little Meade. It was good. The stars get a little bloated on it, but overall it brings out some nice details. I'm always dithering my images and doing drizzle too. It just works with that scope, and I've even started using it with a bigger scope. Let's see, the other one was more recent. There it is. This is the Soul, so this was 2024. Can't quite see the dates, but it looks like I've got a total of 16 hours on it, and for me that's a really long time. I'm usually not that patient to image something.
That's really nice. That looks great.
I sat on this one for a while. Yeah. This one that I had never imaged the Soul before. This one, 5 years of imaging. It's the first time I'd ever imaged the Soul. And then once I got into it, I was like, oh, that's really a cool one. I do like Naveen always likes the little hitchhiker there, but this little swirly bit over here kind of interests me. It's kind of a cool little area too. It's got some nice oxygen in the middle. So this was one that, let's see, so I did a more zoomed in version over here. I think I like that area so much. With the bridge going across and whatever's happening here with this nebulosity swirling around. And I liked it enough that I made a, let's see if I don't know if you guys can see this on the camera here. I made a coffee mug out of that one if I can get it to show up. Always wondering like what to do with all these images, and this is one like, well, let me try it on a coffee mug. All right, Chris, you ready to go with the other ones?
Can I ask for for both of you where you're getting the blue color in that? So we're both of you guys, are those narrowband? You're doing narrowband filters?
Yeah, that's narrowband, and that's the oxygen that's coming through all blue like that.
Okay. Okay.
And I
Hey,
think
Chris.
that's what the darker reds are sulfur.
Are you getting the blues after doing a lot of processing in PixInsight, or?
Yeah, to bring out the colors on that one, I really there was a lot of curves and color mask and a lot of processing to kind of separate them out because
Yeah.
I can assign the oxygen to blue, but I think this is one. There's a couple different ways to do that, and I think this was one where I used the process where I sort of made 3 color images, and so I had oxygen done in blue, and then I kind of combined them in the end, and that just allows me to do more with it to bring out the colors, so I could really get 3 colors out of it and not just 2.
So you started with a RGB image, or?
I start with 3 mono images, so I've got
Okay.
SFO, and they're all mono. I convert them to color, and then I colorize them to the shade that I want. And so I take the oxygen and I get it the color that I want, and then once I have 3 color images, so I've got the oxygen with the blue that I want and the hydrogen looking kind of gold and sulfur looking kind of red. I then use pixel math and kind of bring them all together.
Okay.
Yeah, or I'll just bring them into Photoshop and blend them that way.
Right. Very nice.
Are you also, I wasn't sure, it looked like you might have removed the stars in the center, or is it just,
The way I did that on Astrobin, well, I did shrink the stars a lot, but I also made it so that if I hover over it, the stars disappear.
oh, okay.
Astrobin allows you to have sort of a second image, so I did a starless image for when you hover, so you can kind of see it without the stars.
Yeah, I was wondering like how that like I glanced up and saw that they went away. That's pretty cool. Are you doing that? Which software are you using PixInsight for this or?
I did PixInsight and Star Exterminator.
Okay.
All right, fantastic. Thanks very much. Yeah, I like that soul image that you were able to get. That was really cool. Uh, okay, who would like to go next?
I'm happy to go, Chris.
All right, let's see what you got.
All right, let me see if I can share here. All right, is that working?
Yeah, that's it.
Does that work? Okay.
Yeah, nicely
Yeah,
done.
so this is using a Samyang 135 millimeter lens, and I'm using a ASI 2600 MC just with a dual band filter, hydrogen alpha and O3. And this was 8 hours taken in October. So, and actually for this one, I didn't take RGB stars separately, and I actually just used luminant stars in this. I felt that the filtered stars kind of just distracted from the color of the nebula, so I just kind of put in luminant stars, and I sort of liked the way that they turned out. I actually, I think I shot this at f2.8 rather than wide open, and so I didn't use a step down ring. And if you zoom in, you can kind of see the diffraction spikes on my stars from the um, from the camera iris. So there's that.
What camera did you use on this?
The ASI 2600 MC.
Okay.
Yeah. So all right. And so is, does this work? Can you guys see this new one now?
We still see the 135 image.
Oh, dang. Hmm.
Well, actually, before you change, I got a question about that. I'm distracted. I'm doing three things at once here.
Yeah.
The exposures for this, like the sub exposures for this?
It was 180-second sub exposures, and I took 160 of them.
Okay, so and where were you? Was this like here in Bay County or
I was just in my backyard in Chapel Hill.
Capitol Hill? Yeah, still metropolitan kind of area thing. Okay.
Yeah. All
Okay,
right.
yeah, I
Did
was
you
wondering because I'm looking at it, yeah, because if this was like taken somewhere dark, I'm just like looking at it like, well, we probably have a whole lot more that we pull out there. I mean, I can see some other stuff coming through, but I don't know if the data will just be strange and you'll start to see more noise overtaking the signal.
Yeah, yeah, it's a great question. And I
Yeah, I mean, it
think,
looks great though.
yeah. Um so I've got a sequence of three others that I took. Let me see if this works better. Can you guys see this one now?
Yeah,
Um
while you're doing
Yeah.
that, you said it was a Samyang lens. What kind of lens was it again?
yeah, a Samyang 135 millimeters. It's the same as the Rokinon 135. It's a
Is
f2.
this so is this like a camera lens, but you're mounting the 2600 directly to it and then putting it on a tracking mount?
That's exactly right. Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, and I'm using a AM5 mount for that.
Okay. Okay. That's cool.
Um, can you guys see this new one now?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. So this is same camera, same mount, ASI 2600 MC, but I'm using just a little Astrotech doublet. It's a 60 millimeter AT60 ED. I've got a reducer on it, so it's operating at an effective focal length of 285 millimeters. And I'm happy enough with this one, but if you look kind of in this middle area, there's not a ton of detail. It doesn't punch like those narrowband images do. Um, it's pretty good, and I actually tried a different processing technique using a something called a 4-ax palette, and this is the exact same data, but it's basically different pixel math on the channels. And you can see I'm getting a lot more contrast, a lot more detail in that central area. But it's still at the end of the day just the two channels with the HA and the O3 for that dual band filter. And this is the exact same data. This is 140 exposures at 180 seconds, so total of 7 hours in my backyard in Chapel Hill. Um, and then this one is, so this is with my ASI 2600 MC, but I used two dual band filters. I used half the exposures. I did about 11 hours with the HA and O3. And then there are some new ones that have just come out that are S2 and O3, um, but they're dual band, and then you can basically extract the S2, the O3, and the HA and kind of act like you've taken this three-channel process. So it's kind of effectively like doing HA, S2, and O3 separately. So that's what I ended up getting here. This was a total of um, 23 hours with like half an hour of that was, oh, sorry, an hour and a half of that was getting RGB stars. I actually wanted to get some decent stars for the image. So, um, hope you guys can see that. Okay.
Did you follow anything from YouTube, like on, you know, separating the channels and combining them to make it look like this, or you just kind of played around with stuff?
So, I had followed some YouTube examples before, not on this particular one. But I learned enough last year to figure out how to do some narrowband imaging. In that case, I was actually using mono cameras and three separate filters. But in this
Wow.
case, um, yeah, it was pretty straightforward from the um, from the two separate images with the two different filters. In the first image, I would pull out HA and O3, and HA was just in the red channel, and O3 I would assign to both green and blue. And
Mhm.
then in the next image, I would do the same thing. S2 was really red, and O3 was also both green and blue. And then I could combine those four O3 images into one master O3 image. And then I had my
Mm.
separate HA and S2. So yeah, just a little bit of tedium with separating out the color channels from those two dual band images. And then after that, I effectively have three mono images like Jim was talking about.
And did you process them separately, like all the way to before stretching it, or?
Yeah, that's right. Once I separated them out, then I processed them. Um, I processed them separately. I stretched them separately, and I kind of made sure their histograms were fairly equalized across the three
Mhm.
different bands, and then I combined them.
Okay.
All right, that's all I got.
Hey, thanks very much, Paul. Yeah, nice going there with, I never knew that you could actually do that, like an all-out SHO palette with an MC. But nothing surprises me these days, the kind of dual band filters that are out there. So that makes sense. But yeah, nice going.
Yeah, and these were just those cheap. I used the cheap SV Bony ones. They were like the 2-inch ones were like, I don't know, a little over. They're like 150 bucks, 200 bucks.
Wow, that's not
So
too bad.
yeah, they're 7 nanometers per channel, so they're not like super high quality, but I'm happy with them.
Well, I'm happy.
Yeah, very nice.
Okay, very good. Who'd like to go next?
I can.
All right, let's see what you got.
So I did some. Can you see my image?
Not yet.
I don't know if I'm still sharing. Let's see. Thought I said share. Okay, share.
It's coming
Okay.
through. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
So I I attempted to do the heart and soul um, a mosaic. So I have a Vespera smart telescope. It's about let's see, it's about focal length of 200 mm, and lens is 50 mm. Um, and it's got a Sony IMX 462 sensor. I wasn't really happy with this. There's a lot of artifact in it. So it's still a work in progress. I think I had got 6 hours of it, but I'm not happy with this. But I can show you something I did in 2 years ago, 2024. I guess Jim. I guess 2024 was a good year because I know yours is also there. Um, so this is something the Heart Nebula I did back in 2024, and this is with a dual band filter. Again, I was just learning how to use it and process it in PixInsight. So I'm still working on trying to get this. I'm still working on the HSO and um, Hubble palette stuff. So um, yeah, I got some details in here, but there's still a lot of stuff I think could be better.
What scope were you using for this?
It's a Vespera smart
Oh, okay.
telescope.
All right.
Yeah. Um, and I added a very expensive dual band filter, not as cheap as the one you mentioned. Um, but it is like 400 bucks for a dual band filter. But yeah,
Very nice.
and
Did you stack these off of the scope, or is it you're using the scope? Does it do it on board?
it stacks it for you. So recently I've learned how to you can set up the scope to image throughout the night. So I've done that, and I've done it multiple nights. So then I stack it on PixInsight afterwards. But this one is just a single night. I think about 2 hours worth. Um, but yeah, it's still something I'm trying to figure out how to the best way to use it. But it's um, doing it multiple nights is just something I'm trying to play with so that I can get more hours into the image. I'm doing it from Apex from my front yard, so probably a Bortle 6 or a 7, something like that. So, um, but that's all I had.
I would be happy with that result right there. So,
Yeah, this one is not too bad. Actually, I got it around Valentine's Day 2 years ago, so appropriate for that.
okay. Who would like to go next? Okay. All right. So let me go ahead and share Johnny's image. Let me pull that up. I'll get the Dean stuff ready as well. Okay, so here's the thing I was mentioning earlier when I was showing my results. But anyway, so yeah, that's that section down. I guess you could say it's at the tip of the heart, and what is it? And it's also known as the Fish Head Nebula.
Mhm.
He didn't give me any details of what exactly what he used here as far as like filters and whatnot, but he did use his. Let's see. He did email me this. Let's see. Uh, So the shot is okay. So you had it. Okay, so he did put it here. So he used ASI 2600 Duo. I guess that's the same one you have, William. Uh, let's see what else. And it's 50 2-minute sub exposures with his V14 ACF, which kind of makes sense because it's a pretty narrow piece of the whole nebulosity there. And it's, he has it set to F7. He didn't use a filter, which I could, kind of understand because he's kind of on the outskirts of some heavy light pollution. So that makes sense. You process it and it's inside Photoshop. So yeah, I got that. All right, so that's Johnny's. Okay, let me make sure I can get the themes up here. He made me a Google slideshow here. Blah, blah, blah. Okay, so there it is. This one will go through it. Okay. So the VMA presentation for me to present. Okay, yeah, anyway. All right, so here's this first image right here. It's like you've got the two ventricles of the heart there. 896 would be NDC 896, where what we saw with Johnny, I guess that would be in the upper right corner away, and got Merlot there in the very middle. Yeah, that turned out really nice. Let's see, what else do we have here? Oh, okay, so I guess he took two sets of SHOs, and this one was an HOO, possibly. Let's see. So, yeah, here's an SHO, all out SHO there. With the same data. Nice. So, okay, so here's the specifics. SQ855 plus air 585M. Huh. Not familiar with that one. Man, does anybody know about this one, actually? This setup, maybe being set up? Kind of odd. Anyway, well, there's the bullet points right there. You encounter problems with it, and okay, reflections in the electronic filter wheel caused by wonky flats solved with custom printed baffle. Okay, so there you go, William. Maybe you can come up with that. So have that like way out in front of the Hyperstar there. Tried multi-scale adaptive stretch and fix inside, but it's too aggressive. Getting the colors I want took a lot of mucking around. Wish I had more imaging time for oxygen 3 and sulfur 2. Let's see. Okay, did anybody else have any stuff to show about the Heart and Soul Nebula? If not, we're going to go ahead and move on to the other images that were taken since our last meeting.
I have a question if I could ask really quick.
What's up?
Since some of the guys had also said they use the 2600, or maybe this is something that happens with other cameras. So I've had some issue happen where I'm taking sets of images with the 2600, and then I'll find these black spots that show up on it. And so then I was out in the field, like I was at Staunton, and that happened. And I'm like trying to figure out where these are coming from. And I actually took the camera off and looked in there, and it looked like there was some grit or something that had fallen onto the sensor or something like that. And I noticed, or I'm wondering, is there dirt on the sensor? So then when like for instance, the scope would do a meridian flip or flip around or something like that, and then the spots would go away on the second half, right? So it's almost like there was something in there, and it's hard to tell out in the field in the dark when I'm looking in there with a red light, but it looked like there might be something there. So then later on, I get home and I actually go in there and took a look. I even took the front off the camera to go in there and blew it out. There's nothing in there. I couldn't find any dirt or grit or nothing flaking off. So it's baffling me as to what could be causing that. And the one thing I'm wondering, and I'm wondering if anyone has seen this, is like it's cold out and I've got it's a cooling camera, so I've got it like -30 or -40 degrees. So is it possible that I'm getting like bits of ice that like condensation is freezing and then I have ice flakes falling down on it that would do that? Because I cannot think of what else could be causing it. Because that's the part that gets me is when I actually open it up to clean it out, I see nothing in there. It was perfectly clean. There was no damage to any kind of the O-rings or gaskets or anything that I saw in there. There was no debris in there. It looked perfectly clean. I carefully put it back together, but there was definitely, I remember seeing there was something that had fallen down in the sensor while I was out in the field, and then it just disappeared later on when I looked at it.
Are the black spots, are they blurry donuts? Or are they sharp looking?
No, so I know, yeah, it's definitely not the donuts. Like I have, if there's a dust speck on the protective glass, you get the donuts, right? And so that I've got a little cloth, and I've been taking, I make sure I blow it off or I clean off the glass before I start, so I don't get those things. These were sharp, dark spots that are sitting right on the sensor, and like I said, that one time. I'm pretty sure, like I'm looking in there and I'm like, it looked like I could see something there. And I like tapped on the side of it to see if I could shake it off or something like that. And it looked like I could get it to move off of the sensor and out of view, but I couldn't really get a good look at what it was. And so all I was thinking at the time, I'm out there and I'm like, all right, as soon as I get home, I'm gonna sit down, nice clean environment, open that thing up and clean it out. And then I go to do it, and there's nothing in there. I can't see anything. So that's the only thing I could think of is it maybe there's ice chips from condensation that's freezing and falling down on it or something like that.
And my 2600 Pro's got a setting, a dew preventer that
Yes.
keeps the front of it, so that would keep that from
And
happening.
I did have that on. I have the dew heater on in the on the camera when I'm doing it because it does have that. So, but I don't know, if maybe there's somewhere else that the condensation could gather where the heater isn't. Like the heater, I think is, I don't know where the heater is actually now that I think of it. Is the heater on the protective glass that
I
goes
don't know
over the,
exactly. I assume it's kind of around it. I don't really know.
yeah.
So my
Yeah,
thought
I
about
think
that,
it's,
I think you're on
what
the
is
right
that?
track though. Well, so my thought about that, because I had that happen to a DSLR, and
Okay.
which is kind of weird because DSLRs they have anti-reflection cover on them as well, and because the manufacturer will put one on there to filter out the infrared. The one I had, well, it was modified. It had a Bader filter put over it so that it could still pick up hydrogen alpha. But that aside, uh, yeah, I think you're on the right track as far as like tracking down what it is. It's got to be something behind the reflection anti-reflection glass. And
Yeah.
my thought is that maybe what it is that yeah, it's probably some sort of particle there that's statically charged, so that
Yeah.
if you if you disturb it just right, it's gonna like fall out of place and just move everywhere, all over the place. That happened to me with my DSLR one time, and
Okay. Okay.
yeah, eventually I don't know what happened to it. It's kind of I knew that's what it was, and I just had to knock it side to side because I don't know if anybody is familiar with it, but I know Mark probably would be. But yeah, back in the day when you modified your DSLR, it was quite an undertaking to uh,
Yeah.
without those reflection glasses with a with like a bit with a Vader filter in front of it instead. But yeah, but it would just fall out of the way, and I never saw it again. But I know it's in there, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going on with what you were seeing there. It's probably the particle is still there. It's just out of the way, and it was probably static that moved it.
It could be something like that. I'll keep looking at it. So, and as I said, it kind of comes and goes, right? So like the times I noticed it, I just in what I seem to remember is that it was a cold environment when I noticed it happening. But
Well,
anyway,
you would
I
get
just
like
wanted to check. I was
Yeah,
yeah,
just
when you're
checking to
looking
see.
at your subs, and you see it, does it change at all across the subs? Do they get bigger, or are there more of them in adjacent subs?
So on the same image, it's identical. As a matter of fact, what will happen is I stack the image and I end up with the dark spots in the stacked image. So
Yeah.
I had one I recently did, and this was like that same weekend at Staunton River. So I was doing a galaxy image, and this one was at with the focal reducer on it. So and I got these dark spots, but they're off to the side, and I cropped them out of the final image that I took of the galaxy. So because they weren't in the middle, but yeah, it's in other words, they stay there through all of the subs. And then I think there was one I saw that when it flipped, it did the meridian flip. So when the whole telescope flipped around, they weren't there for the second half, right? So
Yeah.
they were only there for half of them. And that's what got me to think like, okay, something was moving around. And I think that night, like after I'd done a run on a single target and I saw that, that's when I said, okay, before I go to the next one, I'm going to look at it. Took the camera off, took a look in there, and I was like, oh, it looks like there's something there. And I shook it around and banged on it to see if I could just at least get it off the sensor. And I think I was pretty successful in doing that, but I couldn't tell what it was. So, okay. Thank you for entertaining the question. I just wanted to see if anybody else had seen something similar, but I'll keep working on it.
yeah, no problem. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and move it to the second half and look at other images that didn't pertain to the topic. The reason why I left my shared screen up is that Naveen had one. He also wanted to share it. It was this guy. He put it out there on Discord, I believe. But it's a planetary nebula. Let's see, got all these bars anyway. I can't see what's going on. Yeah, remember this one probably being his record breaker, 110 hours with a C8 and ASI 2600 mono. That's pretty neat, I guess. But yeah, I mean, that must have been, yeah. Well, I mean, all the stars are nice and round, and what surprised me is in his let's see, what do you call it? Uh, little synopsis here. Yeah, he did it at F10. So I was like, went back and looked at the stars, and I was like, well, looks like the scene wasn't super terrible then, because yeah, if he did this at F10, that's pretty amazing. And yes, slow is the correct word I would use there. I mean, take forever to get something like that. He said the H alpha is a lot fainter than he expected, and they need to get more. And probably wasn't worth spending time on Sulfur 2, but I did it anyway. And processing has some weird artifacts. So I need to try again sometime. It's H alpha halos around bright stars, not that far off. But anyway, but yeah, you got chromatic aberration. I mean, chromatic aberration? Yeah, I guess there's a little bit of chromatic aberration. You see it like on that bright star on the upper right corner there. You see a little bit of orange on one side and blue on the other. It's not bad though. But yeah, my gosh, we're 110 hours. What a trooper. Okay. Anyway. Okay. Well, I'm done. Anybody else have any images they want to share? No.
What part are we doing now, Chris?
We're in the second half. We're talking about the images that people have taken since last time that did pertain to the topic.
Okay, I got a few common pictures I can show when the time's right.
All right. Let's see.
All right, give me just a second. Somebody go ahead and give me a second to set up.
Okay. All right. Does anybody else have anything to show? Possibly.
Um, I can show my Thor's helmet that I took recently.
All right.
Let's see, 1 second.
I can already see it. It's behind you.
Yeah, it's pretty much the same thing, but let me see if I can get a big image of that. Let's see. Mark, if you're ready, go ahead.
Not quite.
Okay. Find it. Oh, there it is. Okay. You see it?
I don't know. I think you're sharing the folder window, not the whole.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah. Okay, it's coming through.
Okay. Yeah, this is I took it over, I think, a week. Probably about 8 hours worth. And then it's processed it in PixInsight. So yeah, the stars came out a little too colorful, I guess, because it looks like Christmas lights, but
What kind of camera was it?
it's the same Vespera. I was using the Vespera a smart telescope. So
Okay, very good.
I was trying to get more of the blues, but then it just tends to show more greens, but I still like it. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks nice. One thing that I would recommend, it seems like you're being a little too harsh with your denoising. Like you're reducing
Yeah.
it too much. Yeah, I was
Oh,
back off that a little bit. And
the
yeah, nobody likes noise, of course. But yeah, I would back off on it a little bit because, believe it or not, some noise does give a little bit of sharpened detail to areas that are, otherwise faint. Because I see faint nebulosity around there, but if you had backed off on noise reduction, uh,
so
I
I
think it
use
would set up a little better. Do what?
the default of noise exterminator. Do you usually back off on the default values or use the
Uh,
default value?
yeah, I mean, I don't. Yeah, some of the plugins for Pixins, when I use PixInsight, I don't use really much in the way of plugins. I mean, I use StarNet, but that's its own little thing. But otherwise,
Yeah.
but as far as like, yeah, I would back off on what Noise Exterminator is doing just a little bit, and maybe even, I mean, if you're up to it, explore other ways to actually remove noise from using PixInsight itself, not one of its plugins.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I
I'm looking at this image. I think it could have a little more potential as far as bringing out some more detail there.
Oh, really? So if I reduce the noise, I mean, I make it less strict noise extermination, the details will actually come out more? Is that what?
Yeah, so it's kind of a catch-22. How can I say this? Uh, Noise. Uh, I forgot what the term. There's a term for it. Not interpolation. I can't remember what the term is for it.
Yeah, I guess it takes away some of the data from it, right? And
Yeah,
like,
so that's the downside of noise. But what noise does do to a certain extent, it is able to really discriminate different tones. I mean, there's all kinds of noise. I mean, light pollution technically is noise, but it's not photographic noise or camera sensor noise
hmm
per se. But yeah, noise is anything that's not what is supposed to be there. But
yeah.
some read noise actually does help by a small measure. It's able to contrast the image just a little bit better. But what is it? Like I said, there's a term for it. But the other thing here is that I think you might be clipping a little bit too much. Um, if you had the histogram right in front, if there was a histogram right here in front of me, I would say you're like clipping the black point a little bit, like you're like in other words, there are some
hmm
tones because when you look at a histogram, the peaks, like the very top of the peak, is the one tone, if you will, that's the most plentiful in an image, right?
hmm
So, say like you have a peak that's like right smack in the middle of the x-axis, then that's going to be like something halfway between gray and halfway between white, and it's dominating the whole image. So what happened? What I mean by histogram clipping, you probably already know what it is. But I think what happened here is you clipped a little bit too much of the histogram on the
On the
uh,
left side,
yeah, on the left
on the
side.
left.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, on the left side. I would back off on that a little bit.
Mm.
So because yeah, you want to get rid of what's not tones. And what's not a tone here? It's because usually, when we're talking about noise, anything that's like, little blips that are on like way off to the right or way off to the left, most likely that is some sort of camera noise that's occurring. And
Mm.
so that you do want to clip out. But this one right here, you may have been a little bit too aggressive with that.
hmm Yeah. Yeah, that's what I felt.
So that
Uh,
was something I noticed on one of your images during the showcase. I think it was your North American Nebula image.
hmm
Yeah, it was clipped. I think it was that one. It was one of your images. I noticed that it was clipped a little bit too. So, I mean, if I were just to give you any advice just from doing this for far too long, so yeah, that's something I think that might be going on here. Just like back off on removing noise on the dark side of the histogram there on the lower.
so so the North American also was the same thing issue on the left side, just clipped a
Yeah,
little bit.
I think
Yeah.
it's a little bit. You have a two like here for example. I mean, I don't know images of Thor's helmet that well, or I don't know. I have an image of Thor's helmet. Let me go ahead and disclose that. But the best way I can describe it is that I don't know that little. Okay, so for example, that little black blob that's like right smack in the middle, right below the actual helmet there, that looks like hourglass shape, sort
Yeah,
of.
right here.
Yeah,
This
yeah,
part.
exactly, right there.
Yeah.
Um, I'm pretty sure that's a dark nebula, but
Mm.
in other areas, I'm trying to like use that as sort of like a reference, but you got your mouse pointer there, so that will help. If you'll move up to towards there you go, like right in a little
Here.
bit near that lab, right there, yeah. So I'm willing to bet that there is some really finer detail there, but it can't be seen because it's been clipped out.
Mm.
So that's something I would do. I would back off on that because, I mean, like I said, I'm disclosing. I've never imaged Thor's helmet, so I don't know it by heart what's going
Mm.
on around it. I mean, what you have here, that's what I'm used to seeing. But
Yeah.
because I haven't processed it myself, I'm not so. sure what I would see. I mean, but I'm seeing that what that example I just gave as far as like there being like almost like some nebulosity and then boom, it just drops off and it becomes black pretty quickly. Uh, that to me is a telltale sign that a little bit too much of clipping has occurred on the left side of the histogram.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's something I should explore. Yeah, thanks for that
I mean, it's a good image. But if you like looking into it as far as like reducing or not going all out crazy with removing noise and just check out to see what's going on the histogram. Yeah, I think this could look a little better.
Yeah, I always felt there was something off. I just couldn't place my finger on what it was. But yeah, I'll play around with what you suggested and see if I can improve this. Yeah, thanks for that.
I
Yeah,
think the
no problem.
default in Noise Exterminator is like a 90% noise reduction. And I usually will reduce that to 67% or 70%. And I might run
Oh,
it
okay.
twice, but I don't usually run it at the 90%. I find it just a little bit, it smooths it a little
Too
too much.
too aggressive, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mark, are you still there?
I'm still here.
Okay, you ready to go?
Stop.
I think so. I'm going to have to share twice because one of these photos is a TIFF and I can't do it all in the same program.
That's
So, you guys ready?
yeah. Let's
Let me
see
see
it.
if I can share. Okay, let's see. I'm going to do this one first. Okay.
Oh wow.
So, what we have here is a GIF, an animated GIF of Comet 240p NEAT, NEAT, N-E-A-T. And this was shot with my C8 at f7, and there were 24 frames. I'm sorry, there were 46 frames originally, and I took every other frame and animated them. So what's really neat about this is that Comet Neat broke in half. It split it off apart, and so you get two uh, two pieces of comet moving in parallel uh, in the stars. So
Yeah, I was about to say that's too much of a coincidence for that to be two different objects moving exactly parallel.
yeah, that'd be a heck of a coincidence, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But anyway, they're calling the main component just 240p neat, and they're calling the second component now down to the right the B 240p or 240pb. Uh, so it'll eventually fade out and go away, but it's kind of neat right now. All
When did
right.
this happen? I mean, did this happen a long time, like way before that it was you were able to image it?
I'm sorry. Say again, Chris. I didn't hear the
Okay,
front part.
when did that happen? Like when it split apart? Did it split apart when before we could actually start imaging it, or
I took the photo on November 26th, and I think the little fragment split away a couple weeks before that.
okay, all
Wow.
right. I wonder if anybody caught that. Right in the middle of it splitting.
I don't know if they did. I haven't seen it.
Yeah.
All right, let me stop and then reshare. Okay. All right, so this is the same thing, except that when I stacked the images, I aligned them on the comets and stacked them. So we get the comets are fixed and the stars have streaked out. But again, these were 60-second photos on my old ASI 1600.
What time frame is it? How long was this taken?
Each photo was 60 seconds long, and there were 46 of them.
about 40 minutes.
Were you able to get any tail structure from it?
Yeah, I don't know how good this is showing on the Zoom, but the bigger comet, can you guys see my pointer?
No.
Okay. Well, from the brighter component, the tail, on the original, you can see the tail pointing down towards the little secondary comet.
I can kind of make that out a little bit.
Mm,
Yeah, I
Okay.
can see it. It's like, yeah, it's
You can
it's
tell that
almost as if the tail's
it's
like pointed
real
away
fuzzy.
from us or towards us almost, you know?
It's real fuzzy to the upper right, but not down to the lower part or to the left.
yeah.
Okay. And let me go on to the next ones here. This was taken on December the 31st. I was messing around with another comet and,
I think you're showing us the same image.
oh, it didn't switch?
No, don't see it.
So you're not seeing like a picture that's in color now?
No, it's the same animated GIF.
Oh, the animated GIF is showing?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Let's try this again. I'm sorry. I thought I was sharing the other photo. Let's try this.
Oh, that's pretty.
This is what I thought I was showing when I was explaining the all stacked together.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I was like, well, the stars are still sitting still, so that's good.
Okay, sorry about that, guys.
Yeah, no, I can see the tail easily now. Yeah,
Yeah, it's a lot easier to
very
see.
triangular in shape.
All right, so we'll go on, and this was taken on the 31st of December. I was using my Red Cat 61 millimeter, and I had shot another comet, and I decided, oh, what the heck? Let me see what 3i Atlas is looking like now. And so I decided to give it a shot, and wouldn't you know, even before I got 10 minutes into it, the clouds rolled in.
Of course.
Yeah, but this is seven by 60-second exposures and stacked on the comet. And this is highly zoomed into a very small section of the full frame of my ASI 2600. I'm sorry, ASI, excuse me, 294 MC Pro. And finally, this is my latest one. Well, this was taken on the same night. This is Comet 24P Chalmsy. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. And this was 25 minutes long, 25 by 60 seconds. Can you see the pointer now?
Yeah, I can.
Yeah, I guess I should have figured that out the first time. Uh, anyway, we got the comet here and a couple of nice little galaxies here, here, and here. So the comet was in Coma Berenices, and so you get a lot of galaxies in that constellation.
Yeah, I was
So
going to ask where it was. I was like, that looks like it'd be around Virgo or something.
yeah, it was real close to Virgo. So that's what I had to share.
Very cool.
Okay. Yeah, thank you very much. Give David Levy a run for his money someday. Okay. All right. Does anybody else have any more images they want to show? Here.
I can show one. I'm going to show one real quick.
Okay.
Zoomed in at the moment. Oh, I didn't want to share that. Hold on. Wrong. Wrong one. All right, try again. Share. Did I shut it down? Oh, I see what it is. Okay. Hold up. It's coming. maybe it's not. See, there it is. Okay. Sorry. I had the wrong browser tab open. I couldn't see it. I don't think I showed this with the showcase. Let me start with this one. So the first nebula that I imaged way a long time ago, was what, 2019, I think, was the Cocoon Nebula. That's the first one that was bright enough that I could pick it up with my unmodified DSLR. And so this would have been the 70 millimeter Meade f5 scope attached to the DSLR. So now that I've got a really big scope and a nicer camera, of course, wanted to image it again, but now, in order to do it, I had to do a mosaic. So this was a mosaic I did of the Cocoon a few months ago. And so how many hours did I have on this? Let's say about an hour for RG and B, and then 5.5 hours of hydrogen alpha to bring out all the cool red streaky stuff on there.
Where was this, in Australia?
It's just Virginia. Hadn't traveled anywhere for this one. But because it's a mosaic, you can zoom ridiculously into this thing and see all the little galaxies up there and these little fingertips. So
that's really cool. Yeah.
It's kind of a fun one to play around with.
So is the Cocoon a dark nebula, or?
It's a combination. So you've got this dark nebula component, and then you've got an emission nebula in the middle. So there's a little star cluster here in the middle that's got this emission nebula around it. Yeah. And then all this fuzzy gray stuff on here is a dark nebula component. And you can see it get very dark as you get further down, and it's thick enough to block out the stars behind it. Get down
yeah, I didn't realize it had dark components to it. It's pretty neat.
That earlier image, you can kind of see just how dark it is against the background stars. If I can find that, yeah. Yeah, so it's very dark against the background stars when you just shot with the DSLR. All right, that's what I got.
Really impressive. Never thought you could see that many galaxies in the constellation Cygnus. I think that's Cygnus. Where is it? Cepheus? Can't remember.
Yeah, it's right between them, I think.
Yeah, like right in the thick of everything. And there's galaxies from here. How about that?
See if I'm moving Cygnus on there or not.
Okay. All right. Anybody have anything else?
I can show one really quickly.
Okay, thanks.
All right. You guys see that?
It's coming through.
Yeah, there it is.
Oh, pretty.
Yeah. So this is the this is kind of the Christmas tree cone nebula region, and so the cone is kind of a little bit left of center, and you can kind of see the Christmas tree. But if you look over to the left, kind of below on the left side, that's Hubble's variable nebula, that kind of bright V-shaped thing now sort of at the lower left. So it was kind of cool to see. This is a very wide angle view. And I used a dual band with my 2600 MC, and I was really happy with, in the middle, how much oxygen was kind of coming through the blue. That was kind of a neat surprise. And then also down at the lower right, just how strong that oxygen signal was. So that's all I got.
Okay. Looking at this, you probably know what my next question is, right?
What's that?
Are you going to make a mosaic and go out of this and go to rosette?
Yeah, sounds good.
Yeah. You can take it. Or just get a smaller field of view, or a smaller focal length, shorter focal length. There we go. That's one.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Well, that's it. Thank everybody for coming out tonight, and and also the fact that probably other people are out imaging right now. So I'll let you get your act together and go out there and sleep in and call the boss and say, hey, I got the flu or whatever. And get it processing your image because you started so late. Okay, but anyway, all right. I'm just rambling. Okay.
I
All right,
was happy.
guys.
It might be clear out tonight, but it is pretty cold.
Yeah,
Cold.
it is.
Yeah, it's up there. So let me look at this right quick. Our next meeting won't be for a while. It's like I said, we moved it up a week because we were wanting to dodge the new moon so that everybody would have, well, nights like these when they would rather be out imaging rather than at an imaging meeting. So the next one will be February 26th. I do not have a topic for that yet. So if anybody has any ideas, yeah, you can pass it along to me and we'll explore it. Or if somebody has something that they know that they could present and to the group, yeah, have at it. Yeah, let me know and we'll get you situated for that.